Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road. Are you ready to go? Everybody for joining us today, Live Music Nation podcast. I'm your host, Jake Gill. We are with Elliot Jackson. Christine, tell me your last name.
Relph.
Rouse. And you guys are with the Jones Theater. I'm just going to let you introduce yourself. Give us a little background on what you do for the theater and you know, how you grew up and where you came from.
Okay. Chris, you want to go first?
I'm Christiane Relph. My mom founded the theater in the early 90s, saved it from being a laundromat. And I'm the executive director, and I am from Westcliff, Colorado now.
All right, Elliot.
I'm Elliot Jackson. I'm the program manager at the Jones Theater, and have been since 2018. And I moved to Westcliff in 2015, and I've lived in Colorado for 20 plus years, rural Colorado for 20 plus years.
Very good. Give us a little background on the Jones Theater, some history, and then where it's at currently.
Well, the Jones Theater was a bar in the 1900s, and then it became the Canda Theater and was showing live movies and then became the Jones Theater, and then kind of fell into disrepair. A dentist bought it, and then, as I said, in the 90s, early 90s, my mom came to Westcliff and thought it was a real shame that this theater was going to be turned into a laundromat. So she made kind of a low offer on it and ended up turning it into a nonprofit. And then we built the building, Studio 2 building that attaches it in late 90s. So, and when she passed away, I kind of, since I was living here, sort of took over the running of it. A labor of love.
What's the capacities of both sides?
Well, the theater itself seats about 125 people. The other building is actually for Studio 2 is a rehearsal space, and it could maybe have 50 people in it, or more, depending on how it's used. And then it has other offices in it and student apartments. We have student interns in the summer who come and help us with our live productions.
Very cool. Very good. Give me some example of the live productions that you have going on this year.
Well, we have a live theater season every year. I mean, not during the year of living COVIDously, but usually we started our live theater production back up in last year in 2021, and we're kind of adding productions on again as we go. We also have had events. There is a group in town in concert that brings a classical music artists to the Valley, and they're partners with us, so their musicians do their concerts at our theater and also at the school. We just had a cowboy poetry event, which might become an annual thing, that was put on by a couple of people regionally. So we have things that movies and plays are going to be the things that we sponsor ourselves, as well as we do a summer creativity camp for kids 7 to 12. And but other people come and rent the theater to do events, and that tends to be, when we have musicians come in, that tends to be how we arrange it.
Okay, very, very good, very good. How long have you been in nonprofit status?
Since about 1990.
Okay, all right, all right. What are some of your challenges that you face as a theater?
Elliot, do you want to?
Well, I would say lately, I mean, COVID was a massive challenge. And it was kind of we I still feel like, we were on a big roll in 2019 in terms of our capacity with our actors and the kinds of theater and other productions that we were able to do. And COVID was a big step back, and I feel like we're still coming back from that. We've been successful getting grants and things, and getting donations through our local community foundation does Spirit campaign, and people have been very generous, but it's still kind of daunting thinking about trying to go forward and build up to where we were before, and even surpass where we were before. And I think still in terms of music, it's been kind of difficult to think about bringing people in, mostly because it's really weird with BMI and ASCAP because it was kind of like we were closed, guys.
Yeah.
why are we still needing to deal with you? Maybe don't put that part in. But it's just been, I don't know, Chris. I feel like COVID was really our biggest challenge, and we're coming out of it now. But it's still going to be kind of a haul.
Yeah.
What are some?
I mean, that was definitely. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's what was our hardest challenge, was how to open safely, how to do events so that we're not doing spreader events. And fortunately, things have calmed down a little bit, but that's still a big challenge. Like, necessarily, do people really want to get together in enclosed spaces? And and people are starting to wanting to be out more and do that. So
yeah, and we also do movies. And, COVID really changed the landscape in terms of movie distribution. Even just trying to find a movie that hadn't already gone to streaming or to DVD. I mean, we're going to start showing movies again this weekend. But it's kind of like, whoa, that's everybody says they want movies to come back, but like the way people have watched, are watching movies keeps changing.
Yep, I hear that. What are some facility ventures that you guys are looking at for this next coming year and into the future?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
So what kind of facility upgrades are you guys looking at in the future? Where's your fundraising dollars going to go?
Well, mostly it goes to keeping. We have a lot. It's an old building, so we have issues around. Just maintenance. We have, so that's something that we are constantly having to raise money for, and having surprises with the roof for different things. Right. But we have a thing where we do outdoor Shakespeare outside, and we're looking at, maybe somehow expanding so that we can use some of the property that we have to have things outside a little bit more, events, in the summer. So,
yeah. What type of children?
I would say a lot of the money that we are raising now, as Chris said, it's like, woo, new HVAC system for Studio 2, yay,
Yeah, no, very good. What type of youth programs and children programs do you guys offer and cater to?
Well, we normally do a kids creative. We have interns that come in this summer. They're in Shakespeare, and then they run a kids camp. And we did it. We've had our kids camp again this summer, which is creativity camp, and it's 2 weeks for kids about 7 to 12, and they come and they learn theater skills. And then normally we do a kids musical after that. We actually do a full production of a children's musical. Now, we didn't, that's in the plans. We'll get back to that next year for sure. But that's a very important part of what we do for the community. And then we just had we were bringing in other artists for kids. We just had Elliot put together Salida Circus coming and doing a free event for local kids. We sponsored them. So we are very aware of that, and it's very important to us. And also the high school is getting back. We normally do a musical with the high school in the spring, and they're finally getting their drama program kind of up and running again. So
good. So you work a lot with your community and the educational institutions there.
Oh, absolutely. That's how we're very grateful. We wouldn't be able to keep going without our generous community.
Now, does your local school district utilize your theater, or do you use their auditoriums, or how does that work?
Well, Elliot, you want to?
Well, they, yeah, normally like they would come and use the theater. You know, again, COVID kind of disrupted a lot of disrupted that relationship as well.
Right.
So we, you know, we would try to get them in, you know, to do events, but it never quite worked out. But yeah, they're starting their, as Chris mentioned, they're starting their drama program again, and we're hopeful that they will come back and do, you know, do a production in the spring. Usually it's the musical, and they come and they do it at our space. And, you know, I'm really hoping that, you know, their new drama teacher is working with us, like directing one of our 10-minute plays, and she's very excited about the possibility of getting, you know, more of her students involved in some of our productions. So,
sure.
You know, we hope to build the relationship back up and expand on it.
What is the size of Westcliff?
Oh,
population.
It's grown.
Well, that's an interesting question, because there's actually two towns that sort of run together. They like, it really probably ought to be one town. Just don't let anybody here say that. So there's Westcliff and Silvercliff. And Chris, what would you say about 15? I mean, in the town limits, would you say what, about 1,500 people?
Okay.
Or 2,000, something like that, maybe.
Pretty small.
Yeah.
Pretty small.
It's pretty small still. No traffic lights. We have no traffic lights. We have one 4-way stop.
There you go. So, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, let's have fun for just a little bit. I'm going to let each of you pick one production, one musical, or one play that you've seen in your entire life that was your favorite. Which one would you say?
Oh my God.
Elliot?
Well, I'm a freak. And so I would probably say my all-time favorite production that I ever saw was a group from the University of Toronto doing medieval drama. That got me into medieval drama and Shakespeare. They did a play called Mankind that was like brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. Blew my mind. You know, I was like, I can't believe these people. They're making me care about something that's 1,000 years old.
Yeah. Christiane?
Well, I would have to say it was seeing Midsummer Night's Dream in the park in London for free.
Wow.
Very, you know, and that just inspired me to love Shakespeare and to love theater and to realize that Shakespeare is funny. And so, you know, I would think that was probably one of the capstones. But we've done a lot of cool stuff here that I'm really proud of. But I would say that was at a, you know, kind of a young age, really was like one of those things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, oh my gosh. Like Elliot said, it's old, but it's really cool.
Yep. Yeah. Very much so. Very much so. Okay. One musical artist or act that you could bring into your theater, dead or alive, who would you bring in?
Oh, wow. You know, for me, it would be kind of a toss-up between getting Richard Thompson in either solo or with his big band, or there's a band called Steven Seagal that is they're a Scandinavian bluegrass band that does heavy metal covers. I adore them. I would love to bring them in.
All right. Christiane, what do you think?
Oh gosh, that's a hard one. I don't know. It just depends on who I'm listening to. I was just listening to James Taylor.
Yeah.
I just love him, and
Yeah.
I thought, oh, I'd love to go see James Taylor live. So,
There you go.
yeah, that would be.
There you go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
and,
It's not,
I've been on a real Gabor Szabo kick lately. I think he was a Hungarian jazz guitar player. He did a lot of stuff in the 60s and 70s. I'm like, well, this is wild. I'd love to see him.
Gotcha. Very cool. Very cool. Well, guys, thank you for joining me today, giving us a little feel of what live entertainment is happening and things and events, and especially for your theater there. Excited to see what happens in the future for you guys. You guys have a lot of energy and a lot of spirit, and so we'll be interested in that. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
thinking of us.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Well, baby, I'm on it with the ball